All right, let's jump right into this story where we're going to see a family's personal trauma smash right into a massive historic revolution. We're talking a beautiful wedding, a really dark secret, and a choice that could end up costing them absolutely everything. So let's start with a really strange question. How could a perfectly happy wedding, the happiest day of someone's life, cause a 9-day spiral into madness? It sounds impossible, right? Well, that's exactly the mystery we're going to dig into first. Okay, so our story kicks off in London. It's pretty peaceful, safe, and we're at a wedding. It's for Lucy Minette and Charles Darnay. This should be the happiest day, the start of their whole new life, but you can already feel something's not quite right. There's this shadow hanging over everything. So, what sets this whole thing off? It happens right before the ceremony. The groom, Charles, takes his soon-to-be father-in-law, Dr. Manette, into a room for a private chat. We have no idea what they talked about, but when Dr. Manette comes out, oh man, he looks absolutely shattered. Whatever secret Charles just told him, it has rocked him to his very core. And it's not just a little worry. No, this conversation completely breaks him. All that trauma from his past, the stuff he fought for years to bury, it all comes roaring back and just wipes out any joy from his daughter's wedding day. And you want to know how bad it gets? For 9 straight days, he just disappears. He locks himself in his room and goes right back to the one thing he did to survive in prison, making shoes. It's like he's not even in London anymore. In his head, he is a prisoner again. It's not until the 10th day that he finally snaps out of it. And his friends, Mr. Lorry and Miss Pross, they are so freaked out by this, they do something pretty extreme. They take his old shoemaking bench and tools, chop them to pieces, and bury them, just to make sure it never, ever happens again. So after that whole ordeal, things kinda settle down. A fragile piece, Life goes on. Lucy and Charles have a daughter. They name her Lucy too. And their friend, this kind of complicated guy, Sidney Carton, he's around all the time. He becomes this really loved, gentle part of their lives. For a while there, it really feels like they're in the clear. The storm's over. But here's the thing. While they're building this quiet little life in London, something huge and violent is brewing just across the water in France. And these two worlds, the quiet family and the raging revolution, are about to crash into each other. Hard. And the difference between these two places is just wild. In London, you've got this little bubble of family happiness. But in France, the whole country is basically on fire. We're talking years and years of anger just boiling over, with the poor finally rising up to take on the rich. It all kicks off on July 14th, 1789. A crowd, led by this guy, Ernest Defarge, storms the Bastille prison, the ultimate symbol of the horrible monarchy. But get this, Defarge has a mission. He heads straight for one specific cell, 105 North Tower, Dr. Manette's old cell, and he searches it. Just like that, this huge public revolution is tied directly to our family's private story. And this one event, it sparks a wave of violence that's going to tear through France for 3 long years. And in the chaos that follows, if you have any connection to the old rich families, you are in serious trouble. The Evermond family's castle burned to the ground. A guy named Gabble, who just worked there, thrown in prison. The rich who can get out, they run for their lives, and a lot of them end up in, you guessed it, London. So now London is filled with these French refugees, and right there in the middle of all this, a single letter arrives from France. And this one piece of paper is about to drag Charles Darnay's quiet, peaceful family right into the bloody heart of the revolution. The letter shows up at Tellson's Bank, which has pretty much become Grand Central Station for all the French aristocrats who escaped. It's supposed to be a safe haven, right? But on this day, it's about to become a direct line to the very danger they all ran away from. And this letter has a very specific name on it. The Marquis d'Evremond. A marquis, by the way, is a super high-ranking noble. The exact type of person the revolutionaries in France are hunting down. So who is this guy, and where is he hiding? Mr. Lorry, the guy at the bank, he's looking all over for this marquis but can't find him. So he just gives the letter to his friend Charles Darnay. But then, the big reveal. The second Charles is alone, he rips it open. The letter, it's for him. He's the marquis. And what's inside? It's from Gabelle. Remember him, the worker who got thrown in prison? He's writing to his old boss, the man he knows as the Marquis. who we now know is Charles Darnay. And he is begging Charles to come back to France and save his life before they execute him. So just like that, Charles is stuck. I mean, what do you do? Stay safe in London with your wife and child? Or do you go back to literally the most dangerous place in the world for someone with your name, all to save someone else? It's an impossible choice. And reading that letter just hits him like a ton of bricks. He's drowning in guilt. Gabelle is only in prison because of his family, because he's the Marquis. He feels totally and completely responsible for what's happening to this man. And so, he makes up his mind. He absolutely knows that going back to France as an aristocrat is basically a death sentence. But he just can't let this innocent man die on his account. He feels like he has to go. So, secretly, he doesn't tell Lucy, he doesn't tell her father. He starts planning his trip to Paris. And that's where we're left, with this one big, nagging question. Charles is choosing duty over safety, right? Honor over his own life. But when your past isn't just a memory, but an actual firestorm, like the French Revolution, is answering that call courageous, or is it just plain foolish?